let's go over to the East and talk about Bradley Beal. Could have requested a trade before the draft, chose not to. The Wizards instead traded Russell Westbrook, of course, to the Lakers on draft night. The ensuing 5-team deal, Bobby, you're going to need a new flow chart just for this deal, ultimately led to a whole collection of players moving. Spencer Dinwiddie, Kyle Kuzma, KCP, who we should note, he is a good friend of Bradley Beal, so that's an important relationship there. Montrezl Harrell, Aaron Holiday, and more. So, Bobby, Brad does have that extension decision coming up. What does he have to decide next in Washington and when?
Yeah, he still has a little bit of time. That extension would not start until October 1st as far as for him to make a decision. But it's interesting, Rachel. After the season, Tommy Shepard, their general manager, just said that this roster is basically not good enough, and there's going to be a lot of different faces. And he basically took Russell Westbrook into, as you mentioned, Spencer Dinwiddie, and the three from the Lakers, certainly Aaron Holiday. And I think I would trust Tommy. He went out and got Daniel Gafford at the trade deadline, so it shows that they can try to add talent around Bradley. So I think this is another situation that basically plays out itself, and we'll see where this Wizards team is, mid-season. They're not up there where, Brooklyn and, of course, Miami, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, some of those other teams, but it is hard to go from kind of that 5 to 8 seed to jump into that top 3.
I like what they've done this offseason. To me, it was a little bit more of a sense of urgency, counter to what Portland did, which was, grab a few bench pieces. They've added some solid pieces to this team. And although it's top heavy in the East, I see this team anywhere from 5 to 8. You know what I mean? They added a lot of depth. Aaron Holiday is someone solid who's kind of being looked over. I know Montrezl is ready to have a big season. I know Kuz is better to have a big season. They've added some other pieces. So I like what they've done. Again, I agree with you guys. I don't think they're going to be contending for a title, but they'll definitely be in the mix of that, middle to lower half of the Eastern Conference playoff seeding.
Well, look, if you could make it into the playoffs, not just the play-in, and if you can even win one series, that will be considered a win in Washington, D.C. Not every team's goals are exactly the same every season. I do want to go up I-95 to Philadelphia because the future of Ben Simmons still up in the air. The three-time All-Star does have 4 more years left on his contract, so that's always important to remember. The Sixers have some time, except also reports are swirling of how much, if any, interaction the two parties have had this summer. It really sounds like most is just being directed through Ben's agent, Rich Paul. So, Bobby, what should we be looking for with Simmons in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, he's another guy. I think we're going to see Ben Simmons in a Sixer uniform when training camp goes, unless the asking price from Daryl Morey, their president, kind of gets a little bit lower here. He's not for everyone, right? He's not for all 29 teams. I think you have to have a certain role, certainly all NBA from a defensive standpoint, but he's different than what James Harden went through a year ago, where you could line up 29 teams and 29 teams would want James Harden on their roster, where Simmons, has to fit a certain role here. And if the asking price gets lower, then yeah, maybe we could see him moved. But when you have a player with 4 years, $147 million left on your contract, you're just not looking to kind of give him away.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it on the head. They've been asking for a king's ransom, so I think their requests for what they're going to get in exchange will have to come down for him to move. But this is going to be interesting because I don't know how true the reports are, but if there has been no communication with teammates or management, I said last week, and I don't know if the rest of the panel agreed with me, I think what has been said has already kind of the writings on the wall. I don't really know if you can get him back there with the right mindset with the rest of his teammates to really make something of it. But again, he's locked in for 4 more years, so we're going to have to see. But I think if they are going to trade him, I think you made a great point. They're going to have to, be more reasonable with their what they're going to get in return.
It's such a tough question, this one, because yes, some of the toothpaste has left the tube, as Zach Lowe has said about this situation, and we've seen some edginess and hurt feelings. And you want to go into a season like this with your team being your team, and guys feeling like the guys in training camp are the guys they're going to go to battle with. And we've been talking all show about how deep the Eastern Conference is this coming season. All that being said, Ben Simmons' value is significantly lower now after a poor playoff performance, and when everybody in the league knows the Sixers are looking to deal him, than it will be as we get closer to the trade deadline. If you look at the track record of Ben Simmons' regular seasons, he will be playing pretty well, probably, barring an injury, by the time we get there, and that's when his value could be higher. So Daryl Morey and the front office has to really figure out, do they want to weigh sort of team chemistry as more important, or what they could get back for Ben Simmons as more important? And since we don't know the team chemistry quite specifically, only they can offer that. But we'll find out, Bobby, right? We'll be watching?
We will. As they say, you're usually in a honeymoon period in the offseason, but I think for Philadelphia and Portland, we're not in a honeymoon period here.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.